Hey, what's up guys, DiplexHeated here again. Welcome back to Men of War Assault Squad 2, and welcome back to the Battle of Stalingrad. It's the year of 1943, and we're about to witness a not-so-stereotypical Red Army charge on some German positions. That's right, the attacking Russians will be outnumbering the Germans 3-1, which I'm sure they did around 1943, of course depending on the area. I think a couple of years later, they outnumbered the Germans like 10-1, but of course it depends on the battlefield. Anyway, we're going to be looking at some of the entrenched German positions, but before we start this battle, I thought I'd point out a few things. I've been getting some comments about mouse cursors and camera movement, and today we're going to do a test. Be ready to write some comments. I would really appreciate your input. First of all, no cursor. Does it get confusing, or do you like the cinematic feel? I do have a cursor myself, so I can see where I'm looking, or where it is, so to speak, but a lot of people have been annoyed by the cursor, but some like to know where the cursor is so that I can point at things so that you can see what I'm pointing at. Second of all, jerky camera movements. I am usually quite excited, and I do move around a bit. Sometimes I feel that that can give people some sort of annoyance, and it can be quite confusing when we're moving around all the time. If you want to really know what's going on in a battle, it's good to have a static camera or a very slow moving camera so that you can see, kind of get an overview of the battle and see what changes throughout it. Because if we keep moving around constantly from one side to another and moving around and turning around, you lose focus of the battlefield and you kind of stop knowing what's going on. So having a static camera can be very good as opposed to this. Because if I do like this all the time, not that I usually move that much, but it gets confusing as opposed to something static or slow moving. We're going to do a try. I'm going to actually let the computer do the camera movement for me, and I think it'll be quite cinematic. I'm sure you will enjoy. But before we start this battle and before you guys get writing on your comments, take a look at some of the upcoming maps. This is one map preview that I wanted to show you guys. Roll it on. It's amazing. It looks great. We're just finishing it up, me and my friend Casper. I want to call him my friend. I'm not sure if he's going to watch this and be like, hey, Diplex, I ain't your friend. But he is an amazing mapper, and I do want to become his friend because I think we can make some pretty cool things come through. This is a German anti-air fortress, and the attention to detail is insane. There are a lot of approaches, and there's going to be some cool close quarter combat, and there's some just amazing German fortifications. So that's going to be coming up hopefully this Friday in future. I just stopped myself from burping. That's what it sounds when you prevent yourself from exhaling air. Exhaling? Yeah, exhale. Exhaling air, yeah. That's a nice word for burping. Exhaling air. Violent exhalation of air. Violent exhale of air. I'm not sure what the right grammatic word is for it. But anyway, snap back to Stalingrad. And, yeah. So without further ado, let's get the battle started. And that is what it sounds like when you almost swallow your tongue. Oh, jeez. Let's just start the combat. Alright guys, the battle is on, and the Russians are going to initiate the assault with an artillery barrage. Of course, randomized as always. We'll see how well or bad it does. So far it seems to be creating some good natural cover on the battlefield for the soon-to-be attacking Russian infantry and armor. Okay, Panzer III arrived. Some infantry dismounted. And the machine guns you'll be hearing today will mainly be MG40. I said MG43s, and I have a couple of times, but of course I mean MG34s, not MG42s. They weren't officially introduced until late 1943, and the Battle of Stalingrad was already over. However, they were present in some cases, but they were extremely rare, according to my historical advisor. And there we go, we can see the Russian assault in all its glory. This is the first wave, and there's plenty of artillery coming in already, and we can see Russian infantry just running to get to cover. There's some natural trenches. Oh, a collection of Russian infantry was just hit by an HE shell from what I believe is a Stug 3, the B variant back there with the short nose. And the Panzer III, which is the J variant, is also attacking the advancing T-34-76. And there's another one on the far side of the screen that you can see advancing in the distance. The camera angles will be doing some lovely cinematic pans for 60 seconds each before they swap over to another view. And this will be going on for the first 5 minutes of the battle. Then it's over to me, because I didn't code it any further than that. So then I'll take over and give you a taste of what it looks like when I'm controlling the camera. It's usually not a complaint, and it's usually never brought up in discussion, but I do like to pay attention even to minorities at times to want to see something else. Both of the... Oh, look at that. I was just about to say that all the German armor had been annihilated, but a Tiger just entered the scene as 2 KV-1s are advancing in the distance. They're supporting the second wave of assault. One of the T-34s is still active, and it just took a hit from the Stug at close range, but it's still going. I thought that Stug went down. I saw some nasty-ass smoke coming out of that self-propelled gun, but it's still kicking, I feel. Oh my god, what are the odds? No way. Tiger down from a KV-1. It didn't even get a shot off. That is such a surprise, because every time I test my battles, the result is always different. But that Stug really gave that T-34 a lesson for going up so close. I think it might have had a struggle with its gun. One of the MG-34 crews were just shot down. And I think what we're seeing right now is kind of symbolizing Stalingrad here towards the end in February 1943. The Russians kind of getting the upper hand of the situation. And, ooh, some pretty interesting physics. I did say that the Germans, or that the Russians outnumbered the Germans 3-1 in Stalingrad, and that wasn't entirely true, but I did note that in the Battle of Berlin in 1945, the Germans had about 1 million combat active men, and the Russians had a bit less, probably around 800,000. I think I recall knowing that the Soviets had 2.5 million men in Berlin at the time, which is absolutely insane. Obviously, the Battle of Berlin kind of concerns the surrounding areas and whatnot, but it's quite insane. And in the Battle of Kursk, I do believe that the Russians outnumbered the Germans 3-1 as well. Well, that KV-1 is still advancing. It's moving up. It seems to want to... Oh! It's shooting at some of the German infantry inside the buildings. I see a German soldier with a Panzerfaust behind a wall. That's quite a good placement. I think he might, if he's lucky, and if he's a good shot, he will get the shot on the KV-1 if it misses him. And this might be like the downside of not me controlling the camera and doing static views, is that we might miss things that I am always otherwise quick to pan to. So, we'll find out. That's how it goes. No, I'm gonna abort the camera view. This is too good to miss. That KV-1 rolled a little too close. It was hit by Panzerfaust, which wasn't enough. I think it might have taken out the tracks. It seems like so. And AT grenades are being thrown at the KV-1, but they're just not enough right now. They aren't just cutting it, and that guy doesn't have a Panzerfaust anymore, so he's just sitting there like, well, with his hand over his knee, what the hell do I do? It's still active. Well, you knocked out the tracks. How's it looking down here? Russian infantry moving up, and this is so hilarious. It really is funny, because battles always turn out so differently. And here's a little taste of that. I do think I save all my footage, and the only reason why I had to delete the footage you're about to see is because there was no sound to it. So the sound you're hearing is from the same video you're watching now. I did record one previously where the Germans absolutely annihilated the Russian armor, and as you can tell, they won, which is quite cool if you ask me. In such a scenario, I didn't even plan for them to win. I don't even plan for anyone to win, but it shows that I do not play favorites. It literally always goes like this. And we'll snap back here to the... I always do snaps with my fingers like that. We'll snap back to the battle with the sound that you were previously hearing throughout the entire video. And with camera views of my own. Right now, it doesn't seem to go any further than that. We'll take a look at casualties. Sorry about the stupid HUD. I don't know why it does that. Now I'll have to break the cinematic field just to disable that bullshit. Russian casualties in red, if I may. German casualties in yellow, as you can tell. So several collections and blobs of squads have been completely annihilated, but the Russians are littering the field with deads here. But they made it so much further than they did in my first attempt. That's cool. It really shows how different it can be. Just one hit from a gun or a tank or an explosion or anything can just change the tide of a battle. And it is really cool. And it's something you should all keep in mind. Alright, guys. I'm going to call this one a dunner. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys soon again. Ciao.